We'll start with a small prayer. Gently close your eyes. Keep your head, neck, back erect. Observe the incoming and outgoing breath slowly. Following your breath carefully. Listen to the shloka. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rutra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopaniषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थिततत्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः You can gently open your eyes. In the previous class, we got to know about the state of yoga being the detached, unruffled state that the mind possesses while it works, and not just perfection in action. Yoga karmasu kaushalam, which is supposed to be one of the famous definitions of yoga. How is that we are going to attain dexterity in action? There's no perfect action. Or if at all there is a perfect action, if there is an ulterior motive beneath the action, it can't be yoga. If a robo does an action with its 100% precision and accuracy, it cannot be called as yoga. So what is kushalata here? What is dexterity here? What is perfection here? If an action is performed by a person who possesses a mind which is stable, which is uninfluenced by the occurrences of its outcome. So how do we gain this state? Because we have to understand that the very nature of action, the very nature of karma is rajasic. It instigates certain amount of passion. It kindles a kind of kinetic energy when you deliver the action. So how do we perform such an action which is real, which does not create any ripple in your mind, which does not create any turbulence in your mind? Krishna says, Yuddhaya yujyasva, Yogaya yujyasva. if you're fighting in a battle, you should be in the state of yoga and fight. He goes to a state, he goes to an extent where he says, you fight for the state of yoga. Be in the state of yoga and fight. He is also saying, you fight for the state of yoga. So that intelligence a person could gain, with which the mind becomes silent, quiet, acting like a prism. Prism could get in the light, white light, and then gets away, gives away 7 lights, 7 colors of the rainbow. The mind should act like a prism while the action is performed. The sattvic state has to be absorbed. Although there is deliverance of action, it is being unattached. It is being totally stable. This is what Karma Yoga is. This is what Buddhi. Whenever Krishna speaks about Buddhi, intelligence, he talks about this state of yoga, where the mind is totally quiet. If the higher wisdom could enable complete mastery of the mind, that, okay, even when I act, the mind will be quiet, then that state is yoga. And the buddhi, the intelligence which makes this happen, is yoga itself. It's karma yoga itself. So whenever he specifies buddhi, whenever he signifies, he delivers about buddhi, he means karma yoga there. So that was what we saw in the previous shloka, where we learned how the real nature of action can be transformed. Real nature of action is producing energy in it, to produce some turbulence. But how do you transform that? You transform by quietening your mind. You transform the real nature of action and make it a good deal, a great deal. And that's the state of yoga. So you have crossed over the border, crossed over the line of being normal person to be a great yogi. That's how a yogi performs an action. Yasya ramate chit brahmani chittam nandati nandati nandatyeva, says Shankaracharya Bhagavad Pada. In whose mind the consciousness is being revealed, he always rejoices, rejoices, and rejoices. Be it of any occurrence, any action, whether it will give a good outcome or a bad outcome, it doesn't bother the person. That's how a yogi performs an action. So we are going into more of Karma Yoga here with 2.51. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi. Phalam tyaktva manishinaha. Phalam tyaktva manishinaha. Janma bandha vinirmuktaha. Janma bandha vinirmuktaha. Padang gacchantya namayam. padang gacchantya karmajam buddhiyukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha. A person who is wise, who is intelligent, with that supreme intelligence latent inside him, he tries to abandon the phala, the outcomes of the fruits, the outcomes of the actions being fruits, with the help of that supreme intelligence, with the help of that state of yoga. And when the wise does that, what happens? Janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gacchanti. The wise, the yogi, the man who does this not only obtains glory, not only obtains supreme joy, but also crosses over, transcends the cycle of bondage. What is bondage? Why do we talk about freedom in spirituality? Aren't we free? We are not free. Think about this. Can you choose your action? Can you prevent yourself from actions? No. You're born in a certain way. You're put in a certain way. You work in a certain way. You can't suddenly stop doing your work and think, okay, now I'm going to be on the road playing violin. No. We are all bound. This is our bondage. Actions bind us. Okay. Krishna goes to a little more extent further, where he says, not only actions, even the birth is a bondage. Oh my God. Does Krishna wants us to die? No, no. The cycle of birth and death is a great bondage. Why so? When you are born, it does not mean that you've got life. It definitely means you have got a life of suffering. Lalita, you have always been positive, optimistic in your lectures. Now we are talking about my life being suffering. Am I destined to suffer? We are not destined to suffer. But when we are born, we are open to the clauses of the life. The clauses include happiness, ecstatic memories. It also includes, pride, jealous moments, It also includes sadness, depression, cry, disorder, mental agitation, and so on. Are you ready to accept this with open arms, that my life will always have happiness and sadness together? I'm going to embrace both of them. You can't, no. You can't. When you're happy, you're happy. When you're sad, you feel like, why is this happening to me? Hence, the state of birth and death is always considered by yoga, by Vedanta, by spirituality as a whole as bondage. What is to be done? Do we have to hang ourselves? Do we have to plunge into the river and then finish the stories? No, that's not the cue. To overcome this cycle of birth and death, the best thing one can do is Karma Yoga. The best solution is Karma Yoga. Because we live in this Prakriti. No? Prakriti is the Sanskrit term for being earthly, made up of 5 elements. Akasha, space, wind, water, fire, and earth. So when we are into this life, we can't get away any of our actions, or we can't get away from any of the modifications of these elements. Similarly, we are also bound by 3 gunas: sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva is goodness, rajas is passion, and tamas is ignorance, or we can say a dense solid state of laziness. Obscurely understood, or in a way of abstract form, we can definitely define sattva, rajas, tamas as goodness, passion, and laziness. Okay. Now, there is another way of living. Not getting bound by the 5 elements and 3 gunas. You can supersede this Prithvi by realizing yourself. What makes you bother? What makes you bother? When you think, I am limited, I am this body, I am born, I'll die, or anywhere in between, I'll get some disease. I'll die on bed. All these botherations are connected to your understanding of you to be in the body, which is totally constructed by this Prakriti, which is made of elements and gunas and tattvas and many and varied other factors. Spirituality says, Adhyatma says, that when you do not limit yourself in the body and realize what you are for real, realize yourself to be that ignited supreme consciousness, and where is birth and death? Birth and death happens to your body. Disease happens to the body. Troubles, upadravas happen to the body. Oh, don't we do yoga to get away from diabetes? Don't we practice yoga to manage our cholesterol levels, to get away from asthmatic symptoms? Is that wrong? Not necessarily. What happens when you sleep, dear? What happens when you go to sleep? When you go to sleep, you sort of lose your state of being in the body. You sort of lose what is in your head, or what is the blabber or the chatter of your mind. That stops. The judgments, the reasoning, the logical deliberations of the intelligence stop. And then slowly in the sleep, you're so peaceful. While you get up from the nap, from the sleep, you feel you're energetic. You're a new one. All the heaviness of the body is gone. All the stresses of the mind is gone. Hence, in English, we say sleep on the problem. What is that we actually do? Shankaracharya says, while we sleep, we go near that Svarupa Sthiti. We go closer to that supreme consciousness. And then we are there. What do? We drop the state of body. We drop the state of being in mind. We abandon it. But while coming back from the sleep, the problems still remain. But what happens when you go meditate and realize yourself that you are that supreme consciousness, that is that Svarupa Sthiti while you're awake? When you do that with awareness, the troubles go away. To Ramana Maharishi, someone asked, okay, Bhagavan, you tell me, to the body which has no disorders, no disease, to the mind which has no problems and no troubles, that is Yoga Sharira, that is the perfect body, and to that body self-realization dawns. Someone asked, is this right? Is my understanding right? And Bhagavan replied, do you think self-realization happens to the body? And then all the question vanished. When you move your state of mind to an altered state, where you're quiet and peaceful, uninfluenced by any changes outside, unruffled by any disturbances that is happening in your exteriors, you're already there. You're centered. Such centered state of awareness, consciousness, is called Manasa. Hridi Manasa. Hrida Manasa, says Shankaracharya. One who is centered completely in the heart. Heart does not mean the physiological heart. I've been quite often telling you this. One who is centered into the center, that mind is called Manasa. And one who has this mind is Manishi, the wise. Many of you know Manish? Yeah? Manish is being the wise. One who has the mind completely set in the center point. He will never give away that center point. He will never obscurely shaken off by the exterior disturbances or gets plunged into instinctive actions. No, he will not do that because he's completely centered. He will act, he will emote, he will think, he will speak, but he will not give away his peaceful silence for any. That kind of mind is Manasa, and the person who has this Manasa is Manish. Such a person, Manishinaha, will definitely cross over the bondage of birth and death. He will not be born again. He will not die. Death will happen to his body, but he will remain as an enlightened soul, always there. You come to India, you see ashrams of different saints. People here becomes devotees of the saints, and they believe, they talk to the saint about their material problems, about their, problems of their households, problems in the office. And then they say, oh, the saint blessed us. All our troubles are gone now. Why? Why do you feel the saint is still there? These people believe the saint is still there. It definitely means the enlightened soul never gets a form back. And he is always there to help people out. Similarly, we feel Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda, Ma Sharada are still there. They listen to us. They hear us. When we could, it is like antenna. Previously in India, we used to have a big antenna to connect our televisions. We have to move that antenna at the roof, and at one single point of frequency, the picture is clear. Otherwise, it is all, tiny, tiny droplets of rain in the television or huge noise. And then slowly, when we try to accurately match the antenna into that frequency, our father downstairs will cry at us, will shout at us, now it is okay, don't touch more. So we get the picture quite good, and we could watch the cricket match. Similarly, our mind has to be accurately put to the center. When we are centered, no other troubles, no other echoes, no other murmurs, no other noise of the mind can disturb you. And you will live forever. Cycle of birth and death is crossed. Janma bandha vinirmuktaha. Such people go out of that cycle of bondage of birth and death. Padam gachanti anami. Where do they go? Okay, they will not die, they will not be born. I remember one particular thing of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi again. While he gives his lectures, hardly he gives any lecture, but still while he gives any lecture, he will intimidate you by asking questions. Are you born? Are you born now? Are you really born? So birth and death is happening to your body. You're not born. You're always there. That's what he wants us to revel in. Okay, so going out of transcending this birth and death bondage, where does this people go? Krishna explains it in a very nice manner. Padam gachanti. They move to the state of wholesomeness. What are we now? We are just one piece. One piece of having black eye, dark skin, wearing a female body. It's just one piece, one puzzle piece. But what are we? We are that whole. So when that state of peace is abandoned, you are absorbed into the whole. When you're absorbed into the whole, where do you find the form? Where do you find the name? Thakur funnily tells this with an analogy. Thakur means Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He says, absorbing into samadhi is like a sugar doll, a doll made of sugar, is trying to learn the depth of the ocean. So, can it learn the depth of the ocean? It will not. What will happen to the sugar doll? The doll, the form, the name, doll is gone. It's gone. It will not be there. What will it become then? What had happened to that doll? It becomes the ocean. It is the ocean. So, padam gachanti. Such enlightened manishis, such enlightened wise people obtain the state of wholesomeness, he says. We become the whole. I'm a little choosy about the word become also. Because when we move into the state of becoming, there is a problem. Even in yogic lore, great yogic scriptures, we are taught this, that Adija Vyadhi, the root cause of all disorders, is lying in the state called becoming. What do? We fix up a role model and we try to become that. Or we are being informed by our parents that you are this, you are that, you have to become that, you have to become that. We are trying long. We have been running hither and thither, doing all sorts of actions to become someone, to become that, And in this long rat race of becoming, there is problem, there is trouble, physical, psychic, spiritual, all sorts of problems dawn to the person. What is to be done? It is just the opposite that we have to do. We should not become anything. We should just be. It is the existence that we have to recognize. Whenever we close the eyes and try to meditate, please don't try to meditate that you're sitting by the side of the river and you're enjoying that. Okay, I'm not complaining about the instructions there or the way, methodology of the meditation. It is all okay. But again, we are trying to become something. If you are trying to become something, you will again hanker what is called pleasure, the good occurrence of action. You want that. You want all the time the good things, which is not physically possible, which is not surreally possible in this world. Because the life will offer you both good and bad. So you don't try becoming state. You try to be. Close your eyes and find how you are existing. The mind, which is superficial, or to be very precise, the ego will tell you this is my body and I'm existing in this body. The legs are down on the earth, the spine and head is in the air up, all the time we move around our body, beat the same bush of being existing in the body. Slowly, in deeper layers of meditation, we get to understand that existence, the state, the supreme form, that beautiful feeling is not lying in the body. In further deeper layers of meditation, we get to understand that feeling of existence is not the expression of the mind. Otherwise, what happens? The mind starts to feel something. The mind feels that we are expanded. The mind feels that we are shrunk. The mind tries to repeat itself and bring in the fragrance of rose and sandalwood. No, these all things that we do in meditation. No. When you do that, when you operate from your body and mind, we switch ourselves to becoming. But when you shatter this bodily existence and mental expression of anything, you slowly get centered. Again, the word center, sorry about it. You slowly get aligned and duly understand that we revel in this heart, in this sacred heart, and find that existence feeling is neither through body nor that feeling is through mind. And when you are there, that existence, if you could taste and sip that existence, slowly the heart starts to open and will make the bodily and mind state of yours void, because it sorts of, what do you call, focuses you into that. It'll make you drop what you are. It'll make you abandon what you are. So this is how we have we ought to meditate, and this is the cue to move towards from a piece to the whole. Otherwise, what happens in normal meditation sessions? We always try to feel that we are that piece. Be aware of your knee. Be aware of your feet. Hmm? But what happens slowly in Shavasana? Be aware of your feet. Relax your feet. Oh, there is no feet. Yes, that's what you have to understand. Be aware of the knee. Relax the knee. Oh, I don't feel my knee anymore. Yes, that is what you have to understand. And then slowly in the layers of Shavasana, after 10-15 minutes, all the thoughts, feelings starts to descend down, starts to vanish away, starts to decline. That is exactly the feel that you have to got to get. You have to drop the state of body, abandon your mind, abandon your intelligence, stay in that quietude, stay in that peaceful existence. When you do it 2 times, 5 times, 9 times this way, slowly you will understand that existence, that supreme consciousness will start to rule you, will take away all your troubles, will take away all your construct of body and mind. And this is nice, believe me. Okay, I'm not scaring you off. This is really nice. Why? Because you will get to not react with situations, you will get to respond to the situations better. Because you have given your remote control to that perfect frequency of antenna. Where there is clear picture, no noise. This is Padam Gachanti. Slowly, slowly you move to that exalted state of consciousness. Is it really happening to me? I am just a person totally tormented by the troubles, have bad backgrounds, bad ethics. Is this going to happen to me? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. If you cautiously move into that steps, any person, any dirty one, any wise one, any mad one, any mucky one will be the whole. Why? The process itself will make you understand that the mucky, the madness, the craziness, the wise, all things are just adjectives of some false information that we have got, and we are essentially pure. We are not the sinners. We are not the sinners, dear. We are essentially the pure, the enlightened. Just that you have to give away all what you have been thinking about, all your misapprehensions, all your conclusions. Just give that and surrender. And it will take care of, or he will take care of. padam gachanti. There's another word that Krishna here mentions, anamayam. Ama. I usually deliver this as a lesson to all yoga instructors in the course. Mirella, Aurelia, and Uli did the course eventually. They knew. Ama in Ayurveda means poison. How is this poison? This is toxin that we accumulate in the system. Like when we inhale, we not only inhale oxygen, we also inhale so many impurities. Similarly, there are ears, there is mouth, no? There is kapala, there are other edges, other holes, and similarly 9 holes, 9 input and output ends. All this, through all this, what do we ingest into the system, into the body, is called ama, poison. And it is not only in the body, we also ingest poison to the manomaya kosha, to the layer of mind. How do we do it? With wrong attitude, wrong emotion, or wrong behavioral trait. Similarly, there is too much of poison nucleus in our system, body, mind, continuum. Now, how to kill this poison, how to reduce this ingestion of poison into our system is what yoga and Ayurveda helps us with. Ayurveda helps us with treatments. Ayurveda gives us various herbal medicines to reduce poison, and yoga helps in reducing both. Believe me, both psychic and physical poisons. It kills physical poisons and psychic poisons through various techniques called kriyas, shat kriyas, through various techniques called pranayama, through various techniques called sukshmayama. There are various techniques to eliminate this poison. Now, what does this poison do? Poison, ama, is the reason for disease. Is the reason for disease. When the poison is accumulated in the system, it targets the respiratory system. One becomes asthmatic, bronchitic, nasal allergic, rhinitic, sinusitic. When the poison exceeds the amount and disrupts cardiovascular system, the person has anginal attacks, high blood pressure, vertigo. When the poison exceeds the amount and disrupts nervous system, then people have anxiety disorder, depressive disorder. Sometimes nervous disorder also creates aches like spinal disorders, rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune disorders. And we can go. N number of disorders are there. You don't have to read all those things. So basic reason is this poison. Now, how to get rid of this poison? I have to close my eyes all the time. I have to close my ears all the time. That no poison gets in on. There are techniques for kriya that you cleanse the eyes, you cleanse all the ends. Through kriyas we do that. Now, how about mental poisoning? How do I take care of my emotions? How do I take care of my behavior so that no poison enters in my system? That is vyavahara. That is where you have to pay attention. How do I ordain myself in righteousness? See, doing right, people think, if I do right, somebody else is getting benefited. Why should I do right? I'm killing myself just because of he getting benefited, she getting benefited. No. If you're righteous, if you're in dharma, you are getting benefited. You are saved. You get less troubles. No? Usually there is this question that if I do right, the organization is benefited. I am not benefited. If you do right, you are the one that is more benefited. If you are true, you are the one that is more benefited. So when you alter your behavior and ordain your traits, your characters, your emotions according to dharma, according to righteousness, less and less of karma, less and less of poisons. Now, why am I talking about this poison and things like that? Krishna here uses the word anamayam. Padam gachanti anamayam. He says, is the state where there is no poison, no disorder, no disease, just ease. And that state is wholesomeness. That state is supreme equipoise. That state is completely stable. Even there is good happening in life, even there is bad happening in life. He's always equipoised. He's not worried, or he's not ecstatic with good occurrences. He's not enjoying a lot. He's not hypersensitive about it. He's happily welcoming. When there is sorrow, he is happily welcoming. Like Rama, he was crowned. He was announced for the coronation the first day, and the same night he's been called. He was banished from his country, from his land for 14 years. Both coronation and banishment, he was not repulsive. He was not impulsive. He was not repulsive. He was standing there, smilingly embracing both. Why so? Did he practice for that? Yes, perhaps he had practiced for that. But the way from within he responded to the situation made him dirt-free, blemish-free, free from kleshas, free from miseries. Not only he, the people around him were free from miseries the way he took the banishment. People are crying, but still awestruck. How is this guy doing? How is this guy stable? And then trying to gain all their mental strength, and they become stable later on. So, state of poison freeness, anamayam, state of supreme wholesomeness, supreme equipoise, is the state we acquire by realizing ourselves. By giving all the control to the self, to the real self, to the true self, to the consciousness, by adhering to that state of existence way beyond mind and body's parameters, way beyond mind and body's parenthesis. By doing that, we are disease-free. We are misery-free. We are poison-free. We are trouble-free. Upadrava. We are free from all upadrava, says Shankaracharya. We are free from all varieties of troubles. That's what he says. So that is 2.51. I'll construct in one particular sentence so that you get the gist of it. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janmavanda vinarmuktaha padam gacchantyanamaya. The wise, the intelligent person, completely imbued in the state of yoga, abandon the fruits of actions. He is not worried about good or bad actions. And hence he is a manishi. He is a person very, very wise. He crosses over, he transcends Janma Bandha Vinirmukta. He transcends birth and death cycle and acquires the state of wholesomeness, which is free from poison, free from disease, disorder, and various other troubles. So that is that. I'm going to stop here for further questions and discussions.